Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius and Anucauskas. Today is the 28th of May 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session, where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, a few of the pairs, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is Ethereum. So the cryptocurrencies are kind of taking the spotlight right now. So you can see that yesterday Ethereum managed to travel all the way here to hit the the May's highs, let's put it that way, at around 280, and then reversed back down quickly and fell down here. Today's, you can see it's trading below its pivot, below today's pivot, but still that doesn't mean that we couldn't see this one traveling further up here. Now, of course, this one is right now retracing slightly to the downside. We're keeping a close eye on this 265 level, which previously acted as a good area of resistance, recently acted as a good area of support. Should I say yesterday acted as a good area of support. We will continue observing this one in case this decides to play the role again, to play the strong support level role. The only thing is that the bulls should not be disappointed too much, even if we see a small drop here lower. The last resort and way for them to step in here could be this upside support line, this short-term tentative upside support line taken from the low of the 10th of May. If it fails to drop below this, then yep, we could see another leg of buying. For those who are more on the cautious side, in a way, what you could do is just wait this one out until we see a nice good clear break above the 280 level. This way, the crypto would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could then target the psychological 300 level, or maybe just slightly above that, 303. Just to show you what that level was here in the past. Let me just kind of scroll here to the back here a little bit. So basically, the 303 was approximately near the highs of September 2018, so in a way almost the highest point of September. So slightly above that we do have the 322 level, also the high of the 17th of August. So keep your eyes on this one, guys. But for now, again, like I said, for those who are more on the cautious side, you could in a way wait until we see a clear push above the 280 zone. For those who are on the riskier side, you could keep an eye on this upside support line, see how it performs around there. But if this decides to break this upside support line, and if we see a slide below the 258 zone approximately here, now this would create this kind of somewhat of a bearish atmosphere. The only thing is that still it would be a bit of a close call here for us, let's say, to get excited with slightly lower areas. Ideally, we would like to see a drop below the 245 area right here, and then we could target the 231 or the 223 area, which held the crypto here from dropping lower on the 17th of May. So very good potential target. Also, if let's say we see such a move here, then by the time it could travel here, it could also test the 200 EMA, which probably could coincide here with the 223 zone. But again, for now, that's the downside is slightly off the table. First, what we're keeping a close eye on is, of course, this 265 level, then of course this upside support line, and if all these hold, then a nice good break above the 280 would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could then aim for the psychological 300 level. Jumping into a few pairs now. So just also to mention, guys, the calendar, the economic calendar today looks quite calm, and there's not a lot of events apart from UK nationwide HPI figures coming out, so and the gross mortgage approvals, but doubt that they could be a strong market mover. But anyway, so the big probably concern right now is of course the US-China trade talks and trade wars, and yeah, all this nonsense basically, so which kind of is affecting the market in a negative way. But for now, of course, that's what we're looking at this chart here. AUDCAD, very interesting spot, very sweet spot, I would say. I'm not saying that this could now travel all the way higher here, and and first, of course, we need to see that nice good break above this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 17th of April. But ideally, a nice good break and a close of the 4-hour candle above this 0.9325 zone, approximately there. Could be that nice gateway towards slightly higher levels, and just let me adjust a few here, guys. So probably these are running from way behind. So what we could target here is of course this little area around the 0.9375 zone, approximately there. This could be a nice potential target here, initial target, but only if we see a nice good break here above this downside resistance line, and a nice good break and ideally a close of the 4-hour candle above the 0.9325, and then we could aim for this area around the 0.9375. This is where it could also meet its 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, and then we'll take it from there, see what it wants to do. For now, that's the scenario for the upside. In terms of the downside now, if this downside resistance line continues to hold, certainly we will start aiming slightly lower. Initially, what we're going to do here is target the yesterday's lows around the 0.9285 mark, and if that fails to withhold, then yep, a further slide lower towards this potential area of support, which previously acted as resistance but now support, 0.9250. This is where we could be aiming for, and then of course if that fails, then yep, further declines are possible. But then again, like I said, for now it's a very tricky situation here. Again, we'll wait for that confirmation break here below at least yesterday's lows before we could consider slightly lower areas, at least in the short run. So we're not going to try to predict this one, let's say probably long term, but for now we're just going to react to this one. If it breaks here above the 0.9325, that's wonderful for the bulls. We could see this one traveling higher. If it drops below the 0.9285, which was yesterday's low, then there could be a small chance for a bit of a decline here towards the 0.9250, and then we'll take it from there, see what it wants to do. If it wants to travel further down, then well, this could put the 0.9195 level back on the radar, and that was the lowest point of last week. So keep your eyes on this one. GBPUSD. Now it's a bit of a very problematic pair, to be honest, lately, and in general the British currency is a bit of a problematic one. It's getting hit just by any Brexit headline, and it just continues to slide basically. So although we did have a kind of an idea that we may see a nice push higher, now still there is a little bit of hope, maybe, because looking at this, how it performed last week, and looking at this daily chart, you can see that we had a nice signal here, a reversal signal, and then so basically a nice a nice reversal, nice doji here forming, and then you see on the Friday it managed to at least close the day in the positive territory. But yesterday, initially in the morning, there was some hope. It was trying to push higher. It managed to make its way towards the 1.2750 area, but kind of never made its way towards this tentative downside resistance line taken from the high of the 3rd of May. And then it kind of dropped, and now it's balancing around this level that I talked about yesterday as well, the 1.2665. Now for now we're just going to keep this one on our radar, just going to continue observing it, not touching it, because for us, let's say, to get more excited with the upside, that's what we need. As you can see by the highlighted area here, the 1.2750, and of course a nice good break of this downside resistance line. That's what we're looking for here. This way we could then target higher areas and maybe kind of aim at least for this 200 EMA. In terms of the downside, we're going to take also a very cautious approach. We need to get a nice good drop below the 1.2615 zone, something like that, approximately there, before we could aim for much lower areas. So this way the pair would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and we could see this one sliding to the downside. But as I said, for now we're going to remain somewhat neutral on this one and just continue observing the price action. NZDUSD. Now this one is kind of giving a little bit more hope for the bulls. So overall, you can see that it managed to break this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 26th of March. It traveled higher. It is now balancing again above this this area that I had highlighted near the 0.6545 zone. Now what we could do here is shift this line to the upside a little bit, just to kind of mark the yesterday's high, which was near the 0.6560, which that was around there. So basically this could be our new target to watch, new potential kind of gateway towards higher levels. So basically if we see a nice good push above the 0.6560, then yep, this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could then aim for slightly higher levels like the 0.6582, 83, or even this 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. Now, but before we can consider such a move, we need to see that nice good clear break above the 0.6560. In terms of the downside, if this travels back below the yesterday's lows, of course this could slide to the downside. This could aim for the 0.651310 zone, approximately there. Let me just actually adjust this level a little bit. So the 0.6510, that's what we're going to be targeting here. If it falls below yesterday's lows, but still for us, let's say, to get comfortable with the downside in the near term, well, we would like to see a drop below the last week's lows near the 0.6480, and only then we will aim for much lower areas. For now, it seems that the downside could be slightly off the table unless it kind of travels here below the, like I said, yesterday's lows and tests this downside resistance line from above, and then we'll take it from there. We'll see what it wants to do with it. If it wants to continue sliding, then yep, this is where we will aim for the 0.6480 zone. A nice good break below it could open the path towards the downside, but for now it's closer to this barrier, the 0.6560. Let's see how it plays out. If it has a nice push above it, then yep, we will target higher areas. NZDJPY, in a way, similar story. So it managed to move away from the lows that it found last week around the 71.27, something like that, approximately there, but now it's currently balancing just slightly around here. Let me just actually adjust a few levels here, guys. So this is where it's stuck at. It's stuck slightly below the 71.85. Now, in a way, we need to see that nice good break above that level before aiming for higher areas. And by higher areas, initially, of course, I mean we will aim for this little target around the 72.30, which is slightly fractionally above the 100 EMA here, shown as the green line on the 4-hour chart. But if that fails to withhold, then yep, this potential target, this potential resistance area could be a nice aim for the bulls at 72.70, 78, 79, something like that. Maybe just a few ticks below the 72.80 zone could be a good target, but for now, like I said, before we can consider that, we need to see that nice good clear break above the 71.85 zone. Ideally, would like to see a nice good close of the 4-hour candle above that, and then we will target higher areas. In terms of the downside, as you probably understood now, the similar story here, like with the NZDUSD, a drop below last week's lows, then yep, could open the path towards lower areas. For now, it's kind of far, a little bit distance. It had distanced itself a little bit. So for now, the downside could be slightly off the table, but if it starts getting closer to it, then yep, we will start looking at much lower areas potentially if we see a clear break and a close below the 71.27 zone. So keep your eyes on this one. Okay guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching until the end. And if you want to join me later on at my Trader's Tea Time, as always, that's 13:15 GMT time. For now, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.